All right, thanks, Don. There's new leads this morning on the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, the little British girl who went missing in Portugal back in 2007 at just 3 years old. You remember her face. You remember this investigation. Well, now investigators say they have the clearest picture yet of what could have happened to her. CNN's Aaron McLaughlin is in London with the very latest. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, Kate. Well, there's new hope in the Madeleine McCann case. For the first time ever, police have released a sketch of a man they say they very much want to talk to, part of a new push to solve the mystery of this missing little girl. This is the face of a man who police want to find in connection with the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. 6 years after the preschooler went missing while on a family vacation in Portugal, Scotland Yard released these computer-generated sketches called EFITs of a man they say was in the area at the time Madeleine vanished. Witnesses describe him as a white male, 20 to 40 years old, with short brown hair and a medium build.
The EFITs are clear, and I'd ask the public to look very carefully at them. And if they know who this person is, please come forward.
It's part of an appeal to the public for information that includes a reconstruction of the events that unfolded that tragic night when Madeleine disappeared from her bed while her parents were eating at a nearby restaurant. The appeal is now the focus of an exhaustive investigation that has spanned some 30 countries. They've analyzed phone records and interviewed over 400 witnesses. Police say they now have a better understanding of the timeline in which the kidnapping could have taken place.
Everything that can be of value is being examined and looked at, things which weren't done before. There's no guarantee that we're going to get an answer to this, but at least everything has been tried. And I think at the very least, we owe the McCanns that.
Madeleine's parents say they have never given up hope that they will find their little girl alive.
There's been a number of cases over the last few years of children and young women being found after having been taken and held for very long periods of time. So we've always had hope, and as parents, we won't accept Madeleine is dead until we see evidence, clear evidence that that is the case.
Police say they plan to release more sketches of other individuals they would like to identify. Meanwhile, Madeleine's parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, plan to speak out in an interview tonight, part of an appeal to be broadcast in the United Kingdom, Germany, and the Netherlands. Police say it's absolutely crucial that more witnesses come forward to help them solve this case. Chris?
All right, Aaron, thank you. To help us break down these new leads in the case, let's bring in retired FBI Special Agent Stephen Moore. Steve, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
First, I say new leads in the case. Accurate description, or is this about everything being reinvestigated?
That's exactly what it is. The New Scotland Yard is going back to what should have been looked at back in 2007, and they are essentially having to rebuild this investigation from the ground up.
And when you look at this, you know, Jerry makes a good point there, Jerry McCann, that we do see cases in Cleveland. Those girls were kept, those women, some almost 10 years.
Right.
Of course, J.C. Dugard, you know,
right.
So many years, it comes back. It could happen.
Yes.
But as you look at this case, where do you think they are in terms of having any clue of where this child could be?
Listen, a crime scene and an investigation, the crime scene is perishable. An investigation is a consumer. It consumes time. It consumes evidence. The farther you get from the actual crime, the less chance you have. If anybody can do it, New Scotland Yard can do it. I believe that it has been so badly botched by the Portuguese, they can't even start with anything that they had. They have to rebuild it from the foundation.
What was so wrong?
They did the classic mistake. They decided on a conclusion very early on. Plus, you add to that basic forensic mistakes. You add just basic police mistakes. It's like the Amanda Knox case in Italy. They screwed it up from the beginning, and now really it has to be restarted.
Now, obviously, when you're doing a prosecution, it's one thing that those procedural forensic errors make it difficult to make a case. But in terms of finding somebody, what difference does it make when things aren't done exactly right early on?
It doesn't give you the right road to go down. If you do something wrong forensically, it sends the investigators off on the wrong tangent. For instance, the red herring here, where they thought that DNA of the victim was in a rental car of the parents. That's completely fallacious. It never happened, and now the investigators have wasted years on that.
Yeah, why do you think this case has captivated so many kids, so many adults go missing, and they remain anonymous, their cause never gets taken up? What do you think kind of combined here is the perfect storm of interest?
The tabloids. The tabloids in Britain took it. You have a very beautiful little girl. You have educated, articulate parents. And at first they took it with the poor parents. Then they spun it to the parents are guilty. The tabloids ran this case, and the tabloids are responsible in a way for it being screwed up.
Reviewing where they are now, how optimistic are you that they're on some type of road, they're on going in a direction that's more favorable than not?
Oh, I'm very optimistic that we're going in the right direction, and I can't be anything but optimistic about finding her alive. I don't know what the chances are, but there is a chance.
We always say after 24 hours, the percentages all drop, but we do have those cases where years later, people are found, so there's always hope.
Smart.
That's Elizabeth Smart, sure, the girls, the women in Cleveland, as we said, J.C. Dugard, so there's always some hope.
Absolutely.
It'd be amazing if she were recovered and everything's okay.
Wouldn't that be great?
Steve Moore, thank you for the insight.
Thanks a lot,
appreciate it as always.